What's up, guys? It's been a while since I made a video, but this is mostly due to nothing really happening in the market since my last update. And if there is something happening in the market, I do place it on my Instagram. However, it's been a while since I made a YouTube video, publicly at least. For the private community, there are videos almost every week or so. But publicly, it's been a while, and I want to keep you guys up to date on what my perspective is, because as for now, nothing really changed. The only thing that's changing is that people are getting tired of this boring slash bearish momentum, that people are slowly leaving the markets and taking certain losses that they shouldn't take, and so on and so on. But in the general perspective, nothing really much changed. So let's start with Bitcoin dominance. On shorter time frame, guys, well, let me start on higher time frame and let me explain why Bitcoin dominance is so important, definitely if you are new to this space. Bitcoin dominance is important because when Bitcoin dominance goes bearish, altcoins go extremely bullish. They start to decouple from Bitcoin and they start to fly in a certain sense. And we can see what happened here in the past is that a alt season doesn't really take that much time. For example, we had alt season here, we had this stop all the way to here to the bottom, which is around 189 days. Then we had here some slow bullish momentum for altcoins. And this was slowly around a year where altcoins were massively bullish, but they were gaining good momentum. And then we had our last bullish cycle, basically, where we had altcoins exploding for around 140 days. And then we had some small, very minor alt seasons for a few weeks where altcoins saw some decent upside momentum, but in general nothing very special. But some altcoins did make new all-time highs. But as you can see, guys, whenever there's a major alt season or a smaller alt season besides this one here, it tends to go pretty fast. A major alt season doesn't most likely take a year to be completed. It will be like 6 months, 4 months, 5 months, and that's when an alt season is done. For Bitcoin, on the other hand, it takes a little bit longer to reach a new all-time high, and it actually takes a full cycle for Bitcoin to be completed. But for altcoins, they just explode out of the blue, basically. Prices go up, and then Bitcoin dominance starts to go down, and that's what we need right now as well if we want to see altcoins go bullish. So what's my perspective now is very simple. Two things. As long as we do on higher and lower time frame do not break below this level here, this support zone of 5.30, 5.40%, as long as we do not break below this zone and do something like this, reject it here and go down, we will not see altcoins go bullish. What could happen then, in fact, is as long as support is being respected here, that we break back above this zone, retest it, find support, and continue higher towards 58%, which is for sure a possibility. Why? Because on higher time frames, this is simply a extremely important resistance because it's a golden ratio, the 61.8% FIP level. And for people who have experience, they know that this is a very strong zone. First touch most likely will reject for sure. So when we reject here, there could be a possibility that we see Bitcoin dominance break down for the upcoming weeks, and there's an alt season starting. As long as that doesn't happen, do not expect altcoins to go somewhere. Some altcoins might go parabolic. They always do. Even in the middle of a bear market, some altcoins just go parabolic out of nowhere. However, in the general perspective, do not put your hopes on altcoins flying in the next coming week or so, unless we break below this level here and then below this level right here. Then yes, we could speak that alt season is starting, or that there's a minor alt season or major alt season incoming. But as of for now, as long as this is bullish, altcoins aren't going anywhere at all. And that's what you have to understand. A cycle takes around 4 years, right? And we are now, if we go to total, my bad. There we go. If we go to total and we look from the bottom to where we are right now, We are only at 578 days. And 4 years is something like what, 1,200 days? It's something like, let's say something like this here. That's around 4 years. That's a full cycle roughly. So patience is needed, and a full cycle, again, 4 years takes time to play out. But once it plays out, you will be very happy with the rewards that you waited for, because it's really worth it. Anyway, over to total. Obviously, the time frames that I placed this here, well, this here is all correct, but this here is obviously not correct in terms of time frames, because we are, in my opinion, still in this hope phase. A lot of people here are still in the hope phase because they understand that a recovery is possible, that we will make new all-time highs, that there's something incoming. However, in the hope phase, which is basically here from the Wall Street cheat sheet, is that in the hope phase, a lot of people still tend to leave the markets because they are tired of waiting. They expect that a full year cycle is played out in 1 year or 2 years, and it just doesn't work like that. Bitcoin goes up first, Ethereum will follow, and altcoins will then be next. As for now, the hope phase is based on a lot of people still leaving the markets because they are just too tired of waiting for it. And that's where they are wrong, because if you look at this downside momentum after all of this is a blessing. Even though it's boring, and I really understand that it's boring, you also have to understand that if you could buy Ethereum, for example, at $1,500 or $3,400, there's a huge difference in price. And in my opinion, I'll prefer to buy it at $1,500 than $3,400, for example. Same with, let's say, Litecoin. I would prefer to buy Litecoin. I think the price right now is around $72 or something. Prefer to buy it at $72 instead of $150, for example. Right? So see this bearish momentum as a blessing, because it will be your last blessing before the market eventually going to start to take off. And if you miss out on this momentum and you start to sell right here, you take your loss and you leave the markets, you will come back. You will be that person that will then be buying back in the optimism phase or the belief phase or the thrill phase to eventually be exit liquidity. That came out hard. Exit liquidity in the euphoria phase. And this is happening a lot with most of the people who enter. They always enter around here. Mostly these three. Here, these are late investors, late but smart enough still to jump in before it's too late. But this is where real retail jumps in and where everybody thinks they are getting fucking rich. And this is where you become eventually exit liquidity. So it makes sense, in my opinion, to not become exit liquidity, but make sure you are the guy who is the exit or who's exiting when this time comes by buying in when prices are very cheap. Then we go over to Total 2. Total 2, guys, is very simple. It's the total crypto market cap excluding Bitcoin. This looks a lot like Total 1 in general. And here for me, it's mostly important that we first of all respect this zone right here. If we could turn 1.15 trillion into support, there's a high chance that price will do this, retest it, respect the support, and go towards its all-time high, which will be very bullish for Ethereum, but also very bullish for altcoins. And that's what we are waiting for. As for now, again, this downside momentum is a blessing, and it will be downside momentum until we break and reclaim above this level. As long as we do not break above this level here, we can expect downside momentum back towards this support zone right here. But if we do fail to hold support here, it's very logical that we retest this structural level right here. Because eventually this level never got properly retested. Besides here when it was still a resistance, same like here. But we never got a fully proper retest of that zone, which could be incoming if we do fail to hold around 945 billion to round it off. If that happens, altcoins will see more downside momentum. And guess what? Yes, Jimmy boy, it is an opportunity for you to buy in more. You will not be able to time the bottom of the altcoins. That will be a very massive hard thing to do. But what you could do is buy in accordingly as prices are going lower, because a lot of these altcoins right now are massively cheap knowing that they will at least give you an X5 or X8 or X10 in the bull market, it's almost a no-brainer, guys. It's really almost a no-brainer. Then we go over to the last one, total tree. And this is where I'm only going to become bullish on total tree and the altcoins when we break above this zone right here. If we could manage to, for example, as for now, we do look bearish, ready to retest this support. But let's say we do retest this support right here, climb higher. As soon as we could transfer this zone into a support zone, I'll become extremely bullish on altcoins. We will retest its all-time high, likely break it, and we will enter into price discovery for total tree. For the people who do not know what total tree is, it's a total crypto market cap excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. So that's my take on the next coming weeks and months. In the short term, I do agree, yes, bearish momentum could be incoming. Fair enough, it could be really incoming. Yes, 54K for Bitcoin, which I will discuss in my next video, is as well very possible. However, there are certain things that we have to pay attention to. But again, I will discuss that in the next video. As for now, it's important for you to know what the general market perspective is with Bitcoin dominance, total 1, 2, and 3, because these are your main indicators eventually to find out where the market wants to head to. As for now, total tree does look bearish, does look ready to retest this zone. From there on, we'll see what will happen to it. And from here on, it's basically patience, guys. A lot of you, like I said before, are so eager to make so much money. As I am, believe me, I'm so eager to get this alt season and stuff. But we have to be patient and know that this will still take a little bit of time. I mean, I can promise you in 3, 4, 5 months from now, we will not be at the same price point anymore. The market will have moved, most likely. And things are about to get fun, in my opinion. Hope you enjoyed this video. My next video will be about Bitcoin and Ethereum. Alright guys, see you in the next one.